They say it's going to decrease your bloat by 86%, but will it really? Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the ever so popular anti-bloating supplement known as Arrae Bloat. There are so many influencers on social media that swear by Arrae Bloat to help decrease bloating and other issues such as face puffiness, IBS symptoms, and water retention. In fact, the company claims that the product works in less than an hour and can decrease your bloat by up to 86%. But is it too good to be true? I'm going to let you know in today's video by talking about the research behind the ingredients and also my own personal experience with the product. But first, hi, my name is Katey. I'm a registered dietitian and certified personal trainer. My goal with this channel is to help you learn more about nutrition, fitness, and wellness so that you can be your best, whatever that looks like. I also love to do product reviews, so if you have any products or supplements that you want me to review, just let me know in the comments below. I'd be more than happy to cover them. All right, so let's dive in. What is Arrae? Arrae is a supplement company that has a lot of different products, but their most popular one is Arrae Bloat, and it's designed to help with any digestive issues and bloating. Arrae is founded by Sif Haider and Nish Samantray. And they're a married couple that launched Arrae in 2019 as an all-natural supplement to help women's health. In particular, they wanted to address a very common issue reported by a lot of women as well as other people, which is bloating. Their claim to fame is that they use 100% natural ingredients and correct dosing. And if you've ever watched any of my videos before, you know I am a stickler for proper dosing to make sure that it has a therapeutic benefit, meaning that it's actually going to do something for your body. Basically, the dose is what makes the product worth it or a waste of time. All right, so what is Arrae Bloat? Arrae Bloat is exactly what it sounds like. It's a supplement that is meant to help decrease bloating. And this is a really common issue that a lot of people experience, especially women. They claim that their bloating product can help relieve any discomfort and bloating within an hour. They say that their product is clinically proven to decrease bloating by 86%. They also claim to relieve IBS symptoms by 74%, which is a pretty big claim, and to reduce face puffiness and water retention. So that is a lot of claims, and I'm here to address whether or not they are accurate. But first, let's take a look at the ingredients. First things first, according to the label, they recommend taking 2 to 3 supplements after a large meal. This label is based on 2 capsules. First, we see that it has organic ginger extract, in particular the rhizome part, in a dose of 220 milligrams. Ginger is very well known for its ability to help decrease nausea as well as stomach upset. When we're talking about a rhizome, we're just talking about the horizontal stem that the roots grow from. And this is the main portion of ginger that is consumed. When it comes to bloating and digestion, there is a decent amount of research to support using ginger. In particular, research has found that ginger is effective in helping improve dyspepsia symptoms. Now, you may be wondering what dyspepsia is, and all it really means is indigestion or stomach upset. It's basically an umbrella term. Usually when we're talking about dyspepsia, we're talking about things like discomfort in your abdomen or your stomach, feelings of being too full, bloating, and mild pain or discomfort after eating. So I'm sure at one point or another you've experienced these symptoms. When it is ongoing, it is known as functional dyspepsia. In addition to ginger being effective by itself, there are some studies that also pair ginger with artichoke, and that also seems to be effective in decreasing symptoms of dyspepsia. In terms of an effective dose, this ranges quite a bit in research. Oftentimes though, they use doses between about 100 milligrams and 500 milligrams. One thing to keep in mind is that when you're using an extract, the dose is going to be different than if you were using fresh ginger. So in many studies, they will provide the equivalents. So for example, 100 milligrams of ginger extract would equal about 2 grams of fresh ginger. For other uses besides dyspepsia, like nausea, they may use doses of upwards of 1,000 milligrams to 2,000 milligrams, so it does vary quite a bit. And ultimately, when you're using a dose of an ingredient, it really depends on what you're using it for. This product has 220 milligrams of ginger, and I think this is an appropriate dose, since studies have found improvements in bloating and other dyspepsia symptoms when using a dose similar to this. I will say I do think we need more research on this. One major issue with the studies on ginger is that they're all very different. This is known as being heterogeneous. So you can't really do apples to apples comparisons all the time. Also, some of the studies on ginger aren't really well controlled. They aren't double-blind randomized controlled trials, so that's also something to keep in mind and why we need more research. However, ginger has been used in traditional medicine for centuries, and a lot of people know naturally to use ginger for stomach upset, so I don't think it's unreasonable to continue using it for that. Just because we need more research doesn't make the ingredient completely invalid. Okay, so now that we covered the main ingredient, let's look at the other ones. Here's where things things get a little bit difficult, and it's a little bit of a pet peeve of mine, they use a proprietary blend. The issue with proprietary blends is that they basically just combine all the ingredients together and give a single dose. So I can't know, and you can't know, how much of each ingredient is in the product. I understand from a competitor's standpoint, you don't want other companies to completely copycat your product, but at the same time, it makes it very challenging to know what the person is consuming. Anyway, let's take a look at the first ingredient, which is dandelion root. Dandelion root has been used in traditional medicine for a very, very long time, similar to ginger. It's particularly well known for its role in blood sugar management and carbohydrate metabolism. It's also known to have anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. It may also support our liver health, and it may also support digestion. It also contains a ton of different nutrients and compounds. One in particular is inulin, which is a prebiotic fiber. And I've talked about inulin many times, but a prebiotic is simply food that the healthy bacteria in our gut like to eat, and it helps them grow and flourish. So this is why we want to get prebiotics in our diet, because it supports our gut health. On top of this, dandelion is known as a mild laxative and digestive stimulant. Basically, it helps things get moving along. And we have seen studies that have found taking dandelion root to help with these different types of digestive symptoms. Granted, we certainly need more high quality studies. We do not have enough on dandelion root to make a definitive statement at this time. But there does seem to be some type of effectiveness. And again, it has been used in traditional medicine for a long time, so it could potentially be helpful. In terms of dosing, it's a bit all over the place, and the reason why is just because we don't have any concrete evidence and concrete research at this time. But currently, recommendations for dandelion root extract, which is the ingredient that they use in this product, seems to be around 250 milligrams to 1000 milligrams, upwards of 4 times per day. Now for Arrae, we don't actually know how much dandelion root extract is in the product because they have a proprietary blend. But we can do a little bit of math to at least make a best guess. We see that the proprietary blend has 1080 milligrams for 5 ingredients. Because dandelion root extract is the first ingredient, this means that it's in the highest dose. But even if we were to assume that all of the ingredients were in the same dose, all you would need to do is take 1080 milligrams and divide it by the 5 ingredients. And this gives a dose of 216 milligrams. So at minimum, it probably has about 215 milligrams of dandelion root, if not more. So it could potentially have some benefit. Next, we have organic lemon balm herb top extract. Try to say that 3 times, oh my goodness. Like all of the other ingredients so far, lemon balm has also been used in traditional medicine for centuries, particularly to help with digestion. Studies on lemon balm are not widely available, and obviously then we need more research. But there are a couple really small and old studies that have suggested lemon balm may help with different digestive issues. Some ex vivo studies look directly on the gut, which means outside of humans, and have found that it does help to increase gut motility. And gut motility, if you ever hear this term, just means that it helps to get the gut moving and push things along the track. Lemon balm is also known to help decrease symptoms of anxiety, and our gut and our brain are highly connected to one another. This is why when you are feeling upset or anxious, you may actually get a stomachache. So if it does help with anxiety, it could in theory also help to alleviate some unwanted gut symptoms. At this point in time, we don't have enough research to really come up with a particular dose for taking lemon balm with helping digestive issues. Some studies on anxiety use doses of about 300 to 600 milligrams, but we don't know if that specific dose is going to help with digestive issues. Again, going back to the math on this product has at maximum about 216 milligrams. So it's not a horrible dose, but it's probably a little bit less than this, and it's very challenging to know for sure because it's a proprietary dose. Next, we have organic peppermint leaf extract. And peppermint leaf extract is pretty well known for helping with digestive issues and also people that have IBS symptoms. And IBS simply stands for irritable bowel syndrome. When it comes to peppermint extract, most research has found that it helps to act on the smooth muscle of our intestine to help relax it. And this may help with IBS symptoms because it helps to relax the gut. And this is all thanks to a compound known as L-menthol. When it comes to the research, there is one meta-analysis that came out in 2019 that found that peppermint oil was favored in treating IBS symptoms. However, there is a big but here. The study found that peppermint oil was effective when the supplement was enterically coated, meaning that it survives the stomach and goes through the intestine. Based on the ingredient list, it doesn't appear that this product is enterically coated, so it may not survive the entire way down. So it's hard to say if it will have the same effect. Another meta-analysis published in The Lancet did find that peppermint peppermint oil was effective when we're talking about global digestive symptoms. And basically that just means digestive symptoms in general. However, they noted that higher quality studies are needed. Beyond these studies, most research has paired peppermint oil with caraway oil to help with dyspepsia symptoms. And again, as a reminder, dyspepsia simply means indigestion, bloating, things like that. But since Arrae Bloat does not have caraway, I'm not going to talk about these studies because we can't do an apples to apples comparison because of that. Finally, one thing to note that is important is that technically speaking, peppermint oil and peppermint extract aren't the same thing. Peppermint oil is much more concentrated and therefore you can use a lower dose. Peppermint extract is still good, but it's not going to be as effective in a lower dose. The peppermint extract in this product could in theory help, but like I mentioned, the product doesn't have enteric coating, so that is a downside. And it's hard to know if it's going to be effective because we don't know the specific dose. Next, we have slippery elm, which yet again has been used in traditional medicine for a very, very long time to support digestive issues. A lot of the claims on slippery elm are based on anecdotal reports, so from other people over time, but based on these anecdotal reports, people do say that it seems to alleviate some gut issues. However, the issue to date with slippery elm is that there just really isn't a ton of research on it. And the studies that are available are usually really small, they don't have control groups, or most of the time they are combining slippery elm with a ton of other herbal ingredients, so we can't know for sure whether or not it's slippery elm that's causing the improvements or if it's the other ingredients. This is why when you're looking at research studies, it's really important that you look at the specific ingredient in terms of whether or not it will be effective versus if you find the ingredient in a larger blend. So ultimately, we need more data on slippery elm before we can say whether or not it's actually going to help. Now finally, we have bromelain. And bromelain is a proteolytic enzyme that we get from pineapples. All proteolytic means is that it's an enzyme that breaks down proteins. And if you think about it, it does make sense. Pineapple is oftentimes in cooking paired with different types of meat to tenderize it. And what tenderizing means is just to break it down and make it softer. So if you think about it, for example, pineapple and ham are oftentimes paired together. And the reason why is because the pineapple, which has bromelain, helps to tenderize the meat. Now, bromelain is an enzyme, but it is not a digestive enzyme that our body produces naturally. Examples of digestive enzymes that our body produces include things like amylase, which breaks down carbohydrates, proteases, which break down protein, and lipases, which break down lipids or fats. Also, another really well-known digestive enzyme is lactase, and this helps to break down lactose, which is a sugar found in milk. And people who have lactase deficiency have a hard time breaking down dairy products. At this time, we don't really have a ton of studies that support taking bromelain to help decrease bloating or address any other types of GI issues. It may help a little bit because it is an enzyme, and so if you're having a meal that has some proteins in it, it may help to break that down. But really, we need more research. So here's the major question that I'm sure you're wondering: does Arrae Bloat work? I do have firsthand experience with taking this product, and I will address that shortly. But I want to go over the main claims first. The first main claim is that it improves digestion. In particular, it says that the supplement uses digestive enzymes to break down lactose and gluten. And I don't think that this claim is entirely correct. First, the enzyme that's required to break down lactose is lactase, which the product doesn't have. Second, the product only has one digestive enzyme, and that is bromelain. And bromelain does break down proteins, so in theory it could help a little bit with gluten because gluten is a protein, but I'm not convinced that it fully is going to do this. We do have a study that did add bromelain to different wheat products, and it did find that bromelain did help to decrease the gluten content a little bit, but it didn't help decrease it enough so that it could be considered a gluten-free product. And while this is awesome, we can't apply this to humans because the study wasn't done on humans, it was just done on wheat products. When it comes to digestive enzymes for breaking down gluten, this is in its infancy stage. There are some products that might help, but definitely need more research. One example is Anpep, and the other one is lactoglutenase. But again, these are not in the Arrae Bloat product. If anything, I'd say the other ingredients such as ginger, dandelion root, peppermint oil, and lemon balm, these are probably going to be the ingredients that are going to help improve digestion and decrease symptoms of dyspepsia like bloating. The bromelain may help a little bit to digest the food, but I don't think it's the main star. But to say that it's going to help break down lactose and gluten because it contains bromelain, I think is a little bit of a stretch. The next claim is that it prevents annoying gas. I do think that the product may help with gas because a lot of the ingredients that we already talked about in research have been found to decrease dyspepsia symptoms like gas buildup and bloating. The next claim is it reduces excess weight. I find this claim a little annoying because it's a little bit misleading in my opinion. If you are feeling really puffy, it's likely because you're bloated and you may have some water retention, which basically just means that you have some buildup of water and it's making you puffy. Now, because some of the ingredients are mild laxatives, this product in theory may help to reduce water retention. So technically speaking, you may lose weight because you're losing the water weight. But this is not the same as fat loss, and I find majority of people, when they're thinking of losing weight, they're attributing this to fat loss. So yes, it's technically true you might lose some weight through water, but you're not going to lose fat. And so I don't really like this claim because I think it can be confusing for the average person. The product also says that it's going to help reduce face puffiness and water retention, and again, this makes sense since it has mild laxatives, and if your face is a little bit puffy because you're retaining water, it could potentially help with that. Now, the company says that it does have some research to back up the product's claims, and I do like to see that. But when we go to their website, under the part where it says that the study is going to be cited, they don't actually cite the scientific study. They just report the results. For a consumer, this is convenient and easy to understand. However, from a health professional's perspective, I want to see the actual research studies so that I can see the methodology, I can see the results, and I can review the discussion that they have, as well as understanding some of the limitations to the study. Now, according to the results of their study, there was up to 88% improvement in symptoms of bloating, 74% reported less IBS symptoms, and 74% of people reported improvements in as little as 1 to 2 hours. We also see that at the end of the study, there was significant decreases in bloating severity and bloating frequency. And that is awesome to see. I'm really glad that they found positive results. Participants of this study also reported other positive aspects of taking the supplement, such as less heartburn and anxiety, better sleep, relief of IBS symptoms, and better quality of life. However, the problem with reporting it like this is that I can't see the table where they would report the actual results and see if it's actually significant changes. I did do a Google search and I did find that on citruslabs.com they provided a little bit more information. Basically, my understanding of this study is that they actually took 2 supplements. For the first 4 weeks, they took Arrae Bloat, and then at 4 weeks, they added Arrae Calm, which is another supplement they have, to the Arrae Bloat for another 4 weeks. And while this is great that the people had improvements, it doesn't tell us if Arrae Bloat was the cause of the improvements in symptoms. I'd actually take a guess and suggest that it seems that when you pair the 2 supplements together, you're going to have better results. And the reason why is because at checkpoint 1, which I assume is at the 4 weeks, you see that the severity of symptoms is still pretty high. But then at checkpoint 2, which is at 8 weeks, and that's 4 weeks after taking the Arrae Calm, we see that there are more improvements in these symptoms. So at this point, we can't really even say if Arrae Bloat is going to lead to these improvements on its own, or if you have to take the 2 supplements together. So while I'm really happy to see that they have positive results, and I really hope that people do experience positive results from this product, that's all I can really hope for, there are limitations to this study. I want to make this clear that this is absolutely no insult to Arrae. I commend them so much for actually taking the time to do a study. Most supplement companies do not do studies on their products. So the fact that Arrae took the initiative to at least do 1 study, I think is a great thing to see. Would I like to see some improvements in the study design and maybe a larger sample size? Yes, but at least this is a step in the right direction. So now let's talk about my personal experience taking Arrae Bloat. So I've actually tried Arrae Bloat before and have personal experience with it. They sent me this a while ago, and so I've been taking it periodically when I feel really bloated to see if it helps with my symptoms. I actually recently took Arrae Bloat with me on my recent trip to Costa Rica because I typically have changes in my digestion when I go on vacation. It's really annoying, but I thought that maybe I should give it a go and see if it would help. So one limitation right away is that I only took the product when I felt bloated, not every day like the study that they did had the participants take Arrae Bloat every single day. I will say that when I felt really bloated or I had a really large meal, I did find that taking Arrae Bloat did help alleviate my symptoms a little bit. And I did find that it worked relatively quickly. I do think that it may have helped reduce visible bloating a little bit, but I definitely wouldn't say that I took the product and then all of a sudden all my bloat went away and you could see my visible abs. It wasn't anything crazy, but it was a little bit. If anything, I'd say mostly that it helped with any discomfort that was related to bloating and maybe having too large of a meal. And for me, that is at least something. The reason I didn't take it daily and don't take it daily is because I don't believe in taking digestive enzymes or digestive supplements on the regular. I want my body to do that work for me. I want my body to produce sufficient digestive enzymes, and I want my actual gut to actually start working and digest the food itself. And I don't really want additional help with that when I don't need it. In terms of taste, it has a slight ginger taste to it, and this makes sense since the main ingredient is ginger, so that's totally fine. I did find it extremely convenient to take. You just take 2 capsules capsuled with water, and from a consumer perspective, the more convenient something is, the better it's going to be. Overall, I would say that the experience with Arrae Bloat was pretty good, but I don't think they're magic pills either. I think they're really good in a pinch, and maybe if you do feel bloated, but I wouldn't use these on a regular basis. All right, so now let's quickly look at the cost. According to their website, it costs $65 for a 1-month supply, and I would say this is on the expensive side. If you subscribe, you get a discounted rate, so if you do plan on using it continuously, you probably should subscribe, you'll save some money. One thing I do like is that they actually do ship to the United States and Canada. I do think the reason why is because one of the founders is Canadian, so probably it was a priority to make sure that the product was available in her home country. Okay, so the next question is, should you take Arrae Bloat? Arrae Bloat might be helpful for people who experience bloating after certain meals. In a pinch, I do think it might be helpful. For example, if you're going to a special event and you're going to be in a really tight outfit, that might be a reason why you might want to take it, but I don't really think it needs to be taken on a daily basis for the average person. If you experience routine severe bloating, I would really recommend that you go to a health professional that specializes in gut health. This could be a gastroenterologist, a registered dietitian, or a naturopathic doctor that specializes in gut health. The thing about gut issues is that it can be caused from so many different things. And there's also different types of IBS and different types of gut issues. One person might have issues with diarrhea, another person might have issues with constipation, another person might have issues with certain types of food, other people might have issues with bloating. So it's very challenging to then generalize all gut issues as being the same thing, and then as a result needing the same treatment. So I really don't recommend that you just take supplements haphazardly, especially if you have chronic issues. Working with a professional is going to help you get to the root cause of the issue. This is nothing against Arrae. I would say this for every single digestive gut health product out there. For random bloating that's pretty mild, this product might be helpful, but again, if it's something more severe and more chronic that's happening all the time, I definitely would go to a health professional first. Okay, so now let's talk about my overall thoughts. Arrae has some really good ingredients that may help address some symptoms of dyspepsia, such as bloating and stomach discomfort. I do like that they use ginger in a good dose, and I do like the other ingredients that they use. I just don't like the fact that it's in a proprietary blend. I do think that some of the wording they use on their website could be improved, since it's not entirely accurate or could be misunderstood by the average person. I think it's fantastic that they did a clinical trial, and I think that it is a step in the right direction for a lot of companies to actually take the initiative to see if their product works, and I want to give them big claps for doing that. Of course, I do think there are some limitations to that study, like I mentioned, so maybe in the future they could do a larger study that has those limitations addressed, but it's a step in the right direction and I like that. After personally trying the product, I will say that it did help alleviate some discomfort after having a really large meal, and it did address some bloating. I don't think it's a magic pill, but it may help in a pinch. Do I think this product is for everyone? Probably not. But if you want to see if it'll help on an as-needed basis, then you could try it. But this is only for people where I'd say that bloating happens occasionally, or you just want to use it when you don't want to look bloated for pictures or at a special event. And I totally understand that. No one really wants to experience that during those events, and I think that's pretty reasonable. And with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. If there are any other supplements or products that you want me to review, just let me know in the comments below. I would be more than happy to cover them. And if you did like this video, I would love it if you would like the video and subscribe to my channel. Your support means the world to me, and it helps me reach more people like you. And I'll see you in the next video.